Good evening and welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the talk show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so-called African American didn't find his way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the indigenous one. And the moon makes another click. Got to pay attention to our environment. We got to pay attention to our surroundings. We have to pay attention to what's happening to us and what we are doing to make all of this possible. When you look at other cultures and when they try to blend their culture into your culture, they tell you the way the moon, the sun, the stars looked in their country to help shape them and help build them into whatever they are. Gaelic, Spanish, whatever. They have a code that they go by. If this star is in this part of the earth at this time, this is what we are to do, right? I mean, you look in every culture, they talk about that, the sun, how the moon, and their stories. And when you ask the African American, what's your story? We never know. What you mean? We never know what our story is. We don't have stories on stories that'll help develop the child in his infancy. We don't pass down stories like that. This is not everybody. There are those who pass down stories about their own people. The African American doesn't do that because he doesn't connect with his own people. You see him playing these fools now. And this is for the indigenous people in America. This is for the indigenous. When this part of the earth had people, if you can say they had a calamity and blah, 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 the earth, Pangea broke up into what you can, okay. But the people who settled on this part of the land called America is us. You know who you are. You know who you are. Your mama, your great grandmama is the chick who had to leave her house because the army was coming in occupying it. That's who I'm talking to. All this foundational black, all that bullshit. Man, please stop. Stop. Ain't nobody trying to hear that bullshit. I'm talking about when this side of the earth, when this part of the earth decided to produce people, they produced you. They produced your great 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 grandmama. You don't want to fuck with her. You rather go fuck with an African. You rather go fuck with a European. You rather go for the Negro, black, whatever they call the Negro, the African American will be whatever somebody tells them to be. Because remember, African American is new. It's new. African American are probably the newest people on the planet. I don't know if there's some other countries or other people probably came up over the world, in the world, but African American is mainly a new species. Remember, they didn't have African Americans in the 1960s. So everybody in the chat should, isn't that a legitimate question? Isn't that a legitimate question? Some people see it. I get some people, some of us, okay, I don't know, I can't see, my eyes hurt, whatever. Come on, y'all. Come on. This where we at. This where we at. So this what we gonna leave our kids. We not gonna do nothing so fucking off the hook that the world just shits on itself. We're not doing that. So what I wanted to do tonight, since I've been traveling back and forth, I've been getting emails from certain people and they ask certain questions. And I tell them I email them back and I tell them I'm gonna be on tonight, to answer their questions. And so I don't know if they're here or not. What day is it? So I want to answer those questions, and then I just want to share something. I've been hearing about this sister. I'm gonna share the screen. I've been hearing about this sister for a minute. And I was having a conversation with some friends, and we were talking about this sister, and they was like, what do you think of the sister Jaguar Wright? And I think she off the hook. I have to do it. Look at her. First thing off the bat, she don't fuck around. And why don't she fuck around? See, those are the questions that have to be asked. And she's tired of working in a system that don't give a fuck about women. Come on. She'll tell you. She can tell you better than me. That whole entertainment bullshit, what it has done to our children, and we just stand by like it's cool. Probably one of the worst organizations ever created. If you look at that entertainment shit, it's a horrible industry. So when are we going to create something to rid the world of that? Really? If you ever seen this sister saying, she bad. She bad. She bad. But all we hear is Mary J. Blige shit. Over and over and over and over again. That's not what music is, playing the same shit over and over again, because we got other voices out here that need to be heard. And if all that's being stuffed in our ears is the same bullshit over and over, it gets monotonous. The thinking freezes up. Everybody got something to say. Everybody can sing a song. Let the people who can do it until the people tell them, okay, we want something new. That's all. It's enough for everybody. So I'm with this sister. She cool. She be going in on motherfucker. She be going in, but she off the hook. So now I want to get into these emails, that people have been sending me, and they've been just asking questions. And I just took the top 3. And, I told them I'll just read the question. And the first one is this: brother, I hear what you were saying, and I know it's right. What's making me not pull the trigger? I mean, brother, it's confidence. It's confidence. You gotta have some confidence in yourself. You on this planet, you was born, you're gonna go through life, you're gonna die by yourself. What are you gonna do with the time that you have here? What are you gonna do at that time? You're gonna sit in front and watch the damn football game every night? I mean, damn. We so stuck in these ideologies and these ways of doing things, we don't even come up with nothing that we can do for ourselves. We don't even think about it. And this is where we are. Won't do nothing different, won't try nothing different. I don't like that. Won't even give it, so stuck on something else, or sit and watch a whole season of something that somebody produced months ago, sometime years ago, and won't even, what's going on in your head, we don't even know. This where we at. Yeah. The not pulling the trigger is not, you have to do something, because everybody's not like you. You're not everybody. You're you want you so what I'm saying is right. Because if I'm saying some bullshit, y'all tell me. Somebody tell me if I'm saying bullshit. If I'm saying stuff that shouldn't be filling the airwaves now, tell me, and I'll shut the fuck down. No, just here to share information that's filled, that all the information we get was stuffed in our heads. I don't even believe we're still alive. I don't even believe we're still here. The amount of bullshit, that comes through the waves is unbelievable. Am I lying? Come on. If you've ever heard that story of Joe Brown talking about how he was a kid and he grew up in the same area where Ike and Tina Turner lived. If you ever want to laugh, You know how they always say laughter is the best medicine? I'm about to give you a kick-ass prescription. Go find when Joe Brown is telling the story about Ike and Tina Turner. You will laugh so hard. Seriously, some of the arthritis will go away. Really, seriously. Check out those people who knew them. All these stories that we get to help shape our image in a way to look at ourselves. It's a cold piece. It's a cold piece. Somebody like in Joe Brown's age bracket, they can connect you to a lot of history. And I understand now that he seems to not mind of sharing information about, especially in a timepiece. And he's in a 50-year timepiece. He's from 1960 to now. So he's a trove of information. He's a trove of information. And he he'd feel in the place of like somebody's father or uncle or big brother or somebody. He really doesn't fuck around. So he's a cat you might want to, check out. So the brother is saying he hears what he's saying, but why he can't pull the trigger. I mean, pull the trigger or what? You're going to either be a part of making something happen or you're not. There's no straddling the fence on that. You have to live your life a certain way. You have to do certain things. Later on in the email, he was asking, how come we're not like the Amish? I'm like, the Amish got their training from Negroes. The Amish got their training from Negroes, but we don't know. We ain't that no more. We Africans, we Greeks, we whatever anybody tells us we are, that's what we are. So I'm here to tell you African Americans ain't Africans. You can simply, you can find your people quicker than you can find yourself. They out there and they talking to you. Go give them a high five. So the brother says, what's the reason why he's not pulling the trigger on doing something? It's confidence. So this is what I'll share. So do you think people who's coming from India over to America, they're leaving their home? They're bringing the husband, and this is the husband and wife, is bringing her mother and father, his mother and father, each at least one of their brothers or sisters, and some kids. They're leaving some place to come over here to set up a business in your neighborhood, and you support it. And you want me to sit here and say how great you are? You're out of your mind. Huh? These people bring their families over here to set up on top of you, and you cool with it. You don't care. You can do what you want to do. Oh, really? Why you got 2 million of your sons sitting behind the cage? Huh? This is where we are? So when you guys are talking that black stuff, when you guys are talking that African American bullshit, come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Everybody's coming over here to get to you, but your confidence is so low. You don't see what they see. And how can you tell? What's one of the first? How can you tell? This is not me. This is just what I'm picking up. You look at the arts. You look what the kids are saying. What are they singing? What are they singing about? What are they saying? What are they instruments saying? We're not paying attention. We're not paying attention to what the children are saying. We're not paying attention to what the 25-year-olds are saying. We don't have a plan for them. Huh? Nobody is saying, find some land somewhere, everybody pitch in and buy some land, 40 acres. Hey, let's grow hemp. Let's grow cotton. I mean, you have this in your genes. You have this running all through your blood, and you won't use it? Explain why. Explain why. Explain why can people from Indonesia come over here and set up multi-billion-dollar corporations in your hood, but you can't do it and you here. And you have all these resources. Why is that? I mean, I think that's a question worth asking. Come on. Come on, give me something on that. Right? Zena, hook me up. You know I'm right. You know I'm right. How can somebody come from the other side of the world, come over to your home and pimp you like a hoe and you cool with it? Explain that. Somebody explain that to me. Come on. Somebody. Come on. I was talking to a brother today and he was like, brother, you just too cold. He goes, things are happening. I'm like, well, give me an example. He said, well, yo, man, well, you know, Andrew Young and somebody else, they got something with the TV where they play reruns. They play Good Times rerun. They play Good Times. They play old Medea, you know, a lot of old stuff, and that's cool. But shouldn't by now we have something that takes over the whole entertainment genre since we paid the most dues in it? Shouldn't we take it over? And I would suggest in doing that to study a group called United Artists. It kind of goes into what Steve Copley was saying, as pawns link together. You have to hook up because everybody has a skill. Everybody can do something. So we got to start looking at each other like that. It doesn't matter what we say. Where they still see us as niggas. They still see us as niggas. I don't care what they see us as. I just care what we see ourselves as. I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that that's one of the things that slows us up. We worry about what other people say about us. I don't care. I don't care. What are we doing as people who are born from this land? What are we doing? Are we making ourselves better? Are we learning growing techniques? Are we learning a new calendar? Because their calendar doesn't do anything for us. What's our calendar? See, these are questions that we never ask. What's our calendar? What are how do we see the seasons? Do we see the seasons as New Year's? Happy New Year's in the day of winter. I know not a lot of y'all like that. I know like y'all being in the snow with your mink and all that. I know it's cozy. Or is New Year for us when everything starts springing from the earth? I mean, which one would be better for us? And something that indigenous people do. There's not a way that we can make houses that are more affordable and just blow they shit away. Can't we do that? Huh? And see, Kia Green is with me. She got the pissed off face. I I I feel her. Kia Green says most hotels in this country are owned by Indians from India. Not one black person owns one. Sad. Now, how come this sister is not up in the debate saying that? Huh? Because she right. She right. This is your home. People from India come over and buy all the hotels and motels, and your dumb ass go support them. Explain that. You know what boss just said, if we do it, we gonna get a biscuit. Come on, this where we at. This how we think? Seriously? This where we are. So, I'm not trying to be an asshole, not really, but seriously, y'all, for real, cuz, come on, y'all. This where we at. Go back and look in your families. Go back and see, because a lot of times it's hard to find, because a lot of times brothers go off to war, and a lot of times brothers don't come back. A lot of times brothers don't come back because of what has happened to their home. It, they can't even live there. I've heard brothers say that. So you have a lot of brothers out there, to a lot of you who may be looking for fathers and stuff. You might want to check the military, your father, or they may have never come back. And I'm still in touch with a lot of those dudes. They look at life a little bit different. They look at life a little bit different. That's why study your families. Get with some of your cousins. See what they found. Get with some of your brothers, half brothers. Don't get into all that bullshit about yo, mama got the two babies, daddies, all that. None of that shit matters. At least she had the fucking kids. You know, we sometimes we look at sisters as having kids. It's like, mother, if it wasn't for them, our population would be fucking decimated. Huh? Huh? Oh, well, they're just having kids and all these kids. Like, the nigga that build something so they don't have to go through that. Then niggas don't want to talk. I don't. Why you? Come on, come on. Are we having children the way our grandmothers used to have them? No. We look at ourselves as nothing. And people coming over here having babies out the yin yang. Why? Because that's pushing them forward. That's control of the world. And you're just cutting off your control of the world and letting anybody else come in and control your world. But you mad at me because I'm telling you. No, you're 30 and you do have something to look forward to. Because this is the reality of it. You're not here for nothing. You're not here for nothing. So that's like the women who have the babies. They could easily abort those babies to make life simpler on themselves. But they don't. Don't they get some kind of accolades? Because we know in this social settings, children are expensive. Why would you take on that? Why would anybody take on that living in this social structure? You got to have 2 beds, you got to have more. Why is that? Because she's growing and the family is growing. And for some reason, we won't take on the natural progression of that. We won't do it. We run away from it. Why? So all of the things that come up in this social that try to get you off kilter, voting. I mean, you would really, voting seriously, you need to disengage from that and set up your own system. I don't know, it's the indigenous people of the American Indian, I don't know, some political party, something. Come on, y'all. Why are you always in the mix? Why are you always in the mix? Because this is about you. You just don't know it. You just keep trying to get somebody else. Isn't it time that you do something for yourselves? I mean, damn. At least trade back and forth with each other. So this is what Zena Rome says. The truth is, the American dream can be a nightmare for those who are seeking to be a part of a system that wasn't created for you. So shouldn't this sister like be at the debate or something? I mean, that's some intelligence. I mean, that's something we should think about. He's telling you the truth is the American dream can be a nightmare. And and we know that's happening right now. So all I'm saying is, shouldn't we build something that benefits us? That's all I'm saying. Shouldn't sisters in North Carolina have a clothing manufacturing? Shouldn't sisters in South Carolina have a clothing manufacturing? Shouldn't sisters in Georgia have a clothing manufacturing? Shouldn't brothers in Alabama have a clothing making factory, turning the cotton into, where it can be made, where the cloth can be made? Shouldn't the brothers in Tennessee be gathering all the medicines, the black walnut? Shouldn't those brothers in Arkansas and all those hot springs, shouldn't they be producing our water? Wouldn't that supply jobs for everybody? Shouldn't we be doing that? I mean, seriously. Shouldn't we be at least doing that? But other people can come from other places, buy up the land around you, and you cool with that. Nigga, that's what's happening, cuz. That's where we at. The second question is, it doesn't matter what we say, they still see us as in words. Yeah, yeah. It amazes me that we let what people think get us off guard, just have us in complete meltdown. It is obvious that everybody wants to be you. Come on. If you go through the history of America and the people are more of a natural resource than the trees. Amen. The people are more of a natural resource than the trees. And I'm just talking about labor. And at the end of their lives, they don't get anything but money, insurance. I don't care what they see you as. What do you see yourself as? I mean, that kind of makes sense to me. What do you see yourself as? I realize, hey, I live in a city where, American culture has engulfed the place. USA has engulfed the place. And what the people try to do to be a part of this system, let them do it. Let them go. There's nothing you can do. Let them be themselves. Let them be Greeks and just watch them as they open up, let other people in that wouldn't. I mean, isn't that simple thinking? If you went over to India, could you get into their universities in front of all of the women in their universities, what their women's went through? Could you get to the front of them and be in line for vice president? Why would sisters here do that? See, that's a question we got to talk about. I know you don't want to talk about it. I don't know, huh? What you mean? Yeah, I know. I know. This is what we do, and we cool with it, and we walk around like we the shit. I would be ashamed. This sister, uh, you know, because I live in a part of town where sisters are like they rough with it. They done got theirs. Okay. So I asked them, like, well, how did that happen? How did you guys let that happen? You know, these sisters that wear the 1906, it tells you that that's where the sorority started, is when these Negroes start acting Greek. So I said, you've been here since 1906. This chick didn't get over here in the 60s. She comes to one of your historically black universities. We'll talk about that later. And she gets pushed up in the line in front of you, and your sorority started in 1906. I'm sure your people go back way further than that. I just want you to explain. Explain that shit. Sister got mad. She got pissed off. I'm like, okay, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you, boo. I hear you. I don't want to argue, but okay. It just sounds kind of funny to me. This is where we are? This is where we are? The third, could you give a simple solution? Okay, I'm going to give some, but this is what I want to say about people who ask for solutions. If you really want to know the solution, you know that you will go find it. I mean, it's simple. It's right in front of your face. How don't you see it? Here's one solution. Let's take, okay, if you're going to trade with other countries, if you're going to do business with other countries, what do the American Indians have to trade with other people? An example would be, let's take something simple, something like eyelashes. How much do you think the eyelashes from the people who are selling them, bringing them to America, what do you think? What is the intake? How much does that bring them? How much does that add to their economy? I mean, whatever the number is, none of us know, but we can think about it. We can infer. We can see what's going on and kind of come up with a guess with it. How much does the American Indian Negro trade to the Asian market for similar products? Motherfuckers be falling asleep. Explain what you talking about. Come on, y'all. Really? This is how low we've sank. You think so less of yourself that you will go buy some that adds nothing to your life. Don't know what it is. Don't care. This is where you are. Simple solutions. The money that you give all the other people over here, start trading it with each other. Duh. That's what everybody else does. They don't support you, they support each other. Guess what you do? Guess what you do? Simple solutions. Make your own shoes. Only eat from people you're familiar with. Yeah, you grow the tomatoes. She grow the greens. He grow the corn. Then get us streets to start doing it. It's simple. They don't buy any life sustaining. They come and take your land and grow their own stuff. And you sitting here arguing and fussing and fighting with everybody else. For real, for real. This where we at? This where we at? Check out the presidential candidates and blah, blah, blah. They all sound dumb. So don't you think it's funny that they have these two older cats running for president, but they try to make it seem like it's a young adult crowd, but you got these old cats telling everybody what to do? Does that make sense to you guys? Anyway, keep the family tight. So what we were saying about those people coming over here, all these immigrants coming over here, they coming over here with family, and they're going to be close-knit like they were at home. Even over here, we at least have to be the same. So family, pull your families together tight. Pull them together tight. Be familiar with your surroundings. Because pretty soon we're, in producing food, we're going to have to be familiar with our environment. What are the best foods? And they grow up all around us. But being in the city all these years, a lot of times we pull away from that. So get familiar with your surrounding and don't eat as much. Don't eat as much. Seriously, stop eating. Each person has about 8 meals in their body now. Because we eat so much and so fast, it takes time for those meals to break down and leave the body. So we got 8 meals. 8 meals. Can you imagine? So that's why you will shit and then you'll have gas and stuff. The gas is between the two shits. You know, that's the gas. That's the gas. And it's also slows down the other foods that have just been eaten. It slows them down. It slows the whole mechanics of that process down. So we got to stop eating so much. We don't want to be eating this shit anyway. Come on. They are making egg. They are making plastic eggs now. That's what I'll talk about in the next. I'll share that with you. They're making plastic eggs now. So you be seeing 2 dozen of eggs for $1. Hey, this is what's being put on us and in us. So we have to know what's going on, y'all. We got to know what's going on. We know the food. Come on. We got to stop eating so much. I know they feeding us like pigs at a trough, but we got to stop eating so much. Only pay each other for what you need. Seriously. We don't have to go back to some of these towns that our parents come from because those towns have been decimated because they left. Those towns can be built back up by people who come from those places, especially now since they gentrifying your ass in the middle of COVID. Start thinking about ways that you can do stuff. Start thinking about these cities. Rebels down there from Clarksdale, Mississippi. What's down there? What could they market to the world if their children were there making it happen? This is something that we have that other people don't have. This is stuff that we have. So, support one another, lift each other up. Somebody's trying to do something. You make sure you push them to the finish line. Was in the Eastern Shore of Virginia the other day, and the thing that is stuck with me from that trip is that this slave had a lakefront house. This slave lived on some of the most beautiful lands here, and these are your lands, but you don't care because you African. You should look at some of these lands that these people came over and took from you and took from your mothers and fathers and grandmothers and grandfathers. It's living cold. Living cold. The lands where you lived, what you did. They have golf courses that is some of the plushest land in the world, and you can't get near it. There's plenty of things to do. You have some minds out there, some young minds, some old minds, some intermediate minds that are brilliant. Because the only way that we're going to avoid this catastrophe is that we do it ourselves. Stop lending our energy to everybody else so they can use us for their benefit. So I want to thank everyone for joining with me tonight. I hope I made sense, and we'll see you later on in the weekend. Peace.